Thank you for watching HackTheFile. I'm Michael Lopez, and on today's episode, we're going to go over cryptography and ransomware on ethical hacking book series. Enjoy. All right, I'm back. Um, I just got back from vacation, so I've been gone for a week, but I'm back now. So we're picking up on the ethical hacking book series, and we're on chapter 5 now. uh, Cryptography and ransomware. And I don't want to skip any chapters in this series because um, if you want to rush everything and you want to skip stuff, that's not a good way to learn. You know what I mean? I think by the time we finish this book, we'll have an idea on how to hack a lot of different scenarios, and we'll have an idea on what tools to use. You know what I mean? The tools are very important. So um, I could somebody can ask me, hey, can you know, debug this MD5, hash, right? Or this up, or a SHA-256 hash or whatever, right? And then I can probably look it up or go to crack hash or something like that or whatever. But knowing what it is and knowing what it does and knowing it, the more about it um, is the better way to go. And in knowing the right tools to use is the better way to go, right? So then, because Kali Linux has a couple different ways to decrypt and encrypt um, uh, uh, algorithms, right? Or hashes or whatever. And so this chapter is going to go over like more of what cryptography is, and then I guess at the end we're gonna simulate some kind of like where I steal the file and then I'm gonna you know uh, encrypt it and then hold it for ransom or something like that. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I've never done this book before, so we'll see what happens. I think I have to start up my Oracle box. So yeah, I gotta start everything up. So just I'm gonna read this and then I'm gonna be starting this up at the same time. So all right, here we go. Uh, crypt- Cryptography and ransomware. Unless you know the code, it has no meaning. John Connolly, The Book of Lost Things. All right, ransomware is a malicious code that holds a machine hostage by encrypting its files. After encrypting the files, ransomware usually displays a window demanding money in exchange for decrypting files. This chapter will show you how hackers write encryption ransomware to extort money from a company. However, before we do that, you must understand encryption algorithms and secure communications more generally. After reading this chapter, you should be able to encrypt a file with a block cipher, send an encrypted email using public key cryptography, and design your own encryption ransomware. Encryption. Imagine that Alice wants to prevent people from reading her diary, so she locks it in a safe and keeps the key. The computer system In the computer system, the analogous analogous activity to placing a diary in a safe is to encrypt it by scrambling the data in some systematic way. If Alice encrypted her diary, anyone who stole it would have trouble recovering the information inside. Cryptographers refer to the original diary as plain text. Because everybody can plainly see what's inside, they refer to the encrypted diary as a ciphertext. Remember that, that's pretty cool. The Caesar cipher was one of the earliest encryption algorithms. It encrypts messages by replacing one letter with another. For example, the letter A might be replaced with a B, and the letter C will be replaced by the letter D, and so on. So just skip it or something. Shows figure 5.1 shows an example of one possible mapping. So A to B, and C is going to be D. It's just basically skipping each letter means the next one or something. Yeah. Try using the mapping shown in Figure 5.1 to decrypt the ciphertext DBU. BUU. Okay, so this D, A, B, C, D, E would be E. B, A, B, C, A, B, C would be C. Wait a minute. A is B now, C is D. So it's just the next one then, right? So D would be E, B would be C, U would be, so D, C, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, V, G, C, V, B, C, V, V, C, E, N? Cat attack? Oh, it goes backwards. Why the hell is that going backwards? That's B. Now it's an A. Instead of U, it's T because it's going forward, back, back. That's stupid. Where's figure 5.1? Over here. Yeah, it says A will be B, C will be D, oh, K will be L. Uh, T is U. Oh, okay. It meant to exactly use this like this. But if that A is going to B, how is that A? Oh, because then B would go back to A. All right, yeah, then B would that would be A or B. So if it's B, it'd be A, and if it's A, it would be B, and vice versa. So this one is A, and this one is A. So if there was an A in this, it'd be B. All right, that makes sense. Glad I cleared that up. However, the original plain text message would be obvious to someone who read the ciphertext, DBU, whatever, unless they also knew the mapping. We refer to this mapping as the key. In our example, the key is 1, and we've shifted letters by one spot in the alphabet. Yeah, I don't know what the hell. Notice a weakness in Caesar cipher. If a message can contain only 26 unique letters, there are only 26 possible keys. A hacker could merely try each key until they found one that unlocked the message. The number of possible keys is called the key space. Encryption algorithms with larger key spaces are more secure because hackers must test more keys. The Caesar cipher isn't secure because its key space is too small. The most secure encryption. What was the key space? So 26 was that. Oh, yeah, because the letters of the alphabet. The most secure encryption algorithm makes it possible makes any possible mapping equally likely, creating the largest possible key space. An algorithm known as the one-time pad achieves this. One-time pad. One-time pad algorithm encrypts a message by computing the exclusive or XOR between the message and key. The XOR is a logic operator that outputs 1 when the two input bits differ and 0 when they are the same. So these are logic gates, okay? Um, XOR and or logic gates, right? And remember what I said? It means all it means is that whether 1 means it's on, 0 means it's off. And what these logic gates do is how everything communicates with these little logic gates. And the AND gate, OR gate, XOR gate is what the ones they're using for this one to decrypt things, right? This is stuff you got to know. It's pretty cool. This is actually like electrical. For example, 1 XOR 0 equals 1. So if you get an on and an or an off, it's on, right? Whereas 1 or 1 equals off. So if you get two that are the same, it's off, right? Something like that. Something like that. Okay, shows an example of encrypting the word secret. So your plain text is secret, and it's on this is the binary code for SECRE, right? On off on this is the binary code whether it's on or off, right? That's how it communicates. See ASCII binary. And your encryption key is this plus, it says plus this, and it's got the ASCII binary again. So the encryption, it used the encryption key, and it turned it back into binary, but with the encryption key values, I guess. And that pumps out a ciphertext, which is pound, star, T, whatever this crap is. First, each letter in plain text is a and key is converted to its binary representation using the ASCII mapping, American Standard Code for Information and Interchange. Is a standard that assigns natural language characters to binary code. For example, the characters in the key PO7SUQ map as follow: P equals 0111. This is you can look all this up. S equals 011. I used to have all this memorized back in school, but didn't use it a lot, so forgot it. But you could print all this out, or you could, practice this for the alphabet. Okay. Next, the two binary values are XOR ED and converted back into ASCII, resulting in the string pound. This is your ciphertext. To understand this better, let's consider the process of encrypting S with the key P. We convert the character S and P to their respective binaries, and then compute the XOR for each pair of bits in S and P from left to right. This means that XOR 0, whatever, XOR 1, 1, and so on, until we reach the final pair. The resulting value is this. There's no P in secret, though, that's why. Right? I don't know. Which, when converted back to the ASCII, yields the ciphertext pound. Unless an attacker knows the key, it will be impossible for them to recover the original message. This is because one-time pad algorithm ensures that any possible mapping is equally likely. Each 0 or 1 in the ciphertext is equally likely to have been 0 or 1 in the plaintext. Assume you've randomly chosen the values in your key. A cipher value of 00 is equally likely to map to a plaintext value of 11, 10, 1, 0, 0. This means that an n-bit plaintext has 2 to the power n possible cipher values. Thus, our 48-bit plaintext secret has 281 trillion possible mapping. Now that's a large key space. The one-time pad does not. The one-time pad does leak some information. In this case, we know that the ciphertext key and original message are all 6 characters long. However, this doesn't tell us much, given the ciphertext is just likely to correspond to the word secret as it is to the other 6 character words like puzzle, fax, hazmat. This is because we could choose a 6 character key that would map any word to a ciphertext. To decrypt the message, you need to XOR the ciphertext with the key once again. The math behind one-time pass. So we don't want to know the math behind it. You guys can pause it here and then read this, but I I already can tell what the math is behind it. Looks like it's algebraic. Yeah, see, consider the algebra behind it, right? It's fine. Pause it right here. Read this if you want to know the math behind it. Google it. The one-time pad algorithm has 2 limitations. First, you can use each key only once. If the same key is used more than once, a hacker can discover information about the message by XORing the 2 ciphertexts. For instance, figure F3, you can see the XORing in the B and stop ciphers, with each other equivalent to XORing the 2 plain messages. So this plus the key equals the cipher, stop cipher. B plus the key equals the B cipher. Stop cipher plus B cipher equals the thing. Your plain text. The following equation outlines the algebraic terms. How XORing 2 ciphers C1 and C2 encrypted with the same K is equivalent to XORing the 2 plain text messages M1 and M2. Oh yeah. The self-inversive property describes the box. Causes the keys in both ciphers cancel each other. Yeah. It's algebraic. Okay. You've got both of these. You're using the same key to answer both of these, and then you got both of these answers. You're gonna know the key. Right? You're gonna know yeah. You can get the plain text. And then you're left with the key. Yeah. Anyways, in other words, the random information that the key provides disappears when the XOR the 2 ciphertexts. Also, encrypting the same message with the same key will always result in the same ciphertext. Yeah. This allows a hacker to detect the same messages was sent. Wait, what? Yeah, because the key. Well, that's just common sense. Encrypting the same message with the same key gives you the same ciphertext. Of course. Oh, okay, yeah. It's just saying that it'll be the same. There's some that are different. But the key must also be the same length as the message. Thus, long messages need long keys. This means that to encrypt a 250 word document, assuming an average word length of 5 characters, you would need to remember that the key is 1,250 characters long. If you would like to convert short keys like TFKD into longer keys like whatever, you could then use shorter keys to encrypt long messages. As it so happens, we can achieve this by using a pseudo-random generator. Pseudo-random generators. Alright, so this is like a very technical chapter. But I didn't want to skip it because I think all this is very important. Everything in this book is very important. To have some kind of knowledge of it, and maybe you don't fully understand it, but you have some type of knowledge of it, and you understand how to use the tools at the end of this, and we can get our little projects to work. um, is the name of the game, right? We don't want to rush things, and we don't want to skip things. We want to just get through it. And this one might be really fun because we're gonna encrypt a file at the end of this, and we're gonna know how it's encrypted and everything. So somebody asks us or whatnot, hey, do you know what ciphertext is? And you'll say, yeah, I know what a ciphertext is. It's when it's encrypted. When plain text is encrypted, and then it turns into ciphertext, right? That's basically what it just said to us right now. So, I mean, you gotta need to know how and how encryption works. It's good. It's good for your brain. Good for hackers. Good for whoever. A pseudo random generator. A pseudo random generator (PRG) is an algorithm that always generates the same looking output given the same key. This allows you to use a shorter password to create a key that is the same length with the message without having to remember the whole key. Discussions of randomness are always tricky. The result of the PRGS looks statistically random, even though they're not sampled from a random source like atmospheric noise or radioactivity decay. However, they cannot be truly statistically random because PRG's input is much shorter than the output. Nonetheless, no efficient algorithm will be able to tell the difference. So PRG output is as good as a statistically uniform string. How is it possible to repeatedly generate the same pseudo random sequence of numbers from a short key? One way is to use a linear concurrential generator (LCG). The details of this formula aren't important, but the following equation describes it if you're curious. Here, xn represent the nth number in the sequence. There you go. Depending on the sequence length, you can select different values from A, C, and M. You can also choose the first number of the sequence X, the first one, which is called the seed. Consider a case with the parameter M equals 9, A equals 2, and C equals 0, and a seed of 1 that is X0 equals 1. These parameters produce the following output: 2, 4, 8, 7. Table 5.1 shows how each number of the sequence is calculated. So xn plus 1, 2, 2 times 1 plus 0 mod 9, xn 1, 2, 4, 8. Alright, what is this called again? The pseudo random generator? The sequence isn't infinite, but it repeats. You can generate long sequences by carefully choosing the parameter. However, all sequences eventually cycle back to the beginning. This process of generating longer keys from short keys is called key derivation. The length of the sequence before the cycle repeats is called a period. Repetition is not only an issue in LCGs. For instance, an LCG is extremely large. Period is that it's extremely large. Okay, but an extremely large period is still insecure. Another issue is that the values are predictable, even without computing a full period. You never, you should never use an LCG algorithm in cryptographic applications. We recommend you use the password-based key derivation function. 2. P, B, K, D, F, 2 whenever you need to derive keys. That's getting deep into encryption. Insecure block cipher modes. We got 5 more minutes on this one. We might have to put this into 2 videos. Uh, Insecure block cipher modes. What if, instead of generating keys the same length as our message, we split the message into blocks? Then we can encrypt each block of large files independently with a shorter key. This is the central idea behind block cipher modes. Electronic code book ECB cipher mode was one of the earliest. Although it isn't secure, ECB illustrates the key concepts as well. Shows how ECB encrypts the binary sequence of this. Notice how the binary sequence is split into 4 blocks, each with its encrypted in parallel. So key 1, chopped it into 4 little blocks. And here's the encryption. So 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. So took that last one, boom, put it in there, and then put it in there. In this example, the block implements a simple function that XORs the input with the key 1, 0, 1. However, given the same key on the output, ECB will always output the same ciphertext, leaking information to the hacker. ECB also reuses the key for each block, which reduces the number of possible outcomes and makes it easier for a hacker to decrypt the message. For example, 5.5 shows an image that has been encrypted with ECB. You can still see the atom over here. Notice that you can still see the outline, the atom in the encrypted file. See? This is due to information leakage from using the same key. A similar amount of information would be leaked if the ECB cipher were used to encrypt text. The subtle flaws and of the Caesar cipher one-time pad and ECB should illustrate why you should never implement an encryption algorithm yourself. Encryption is very delicate, and small deviations from the specifications could result in insecure implementation. Always use secure algorithms from trusted libraries. Man, what are we working at? Alright. Secure block cipher modes. Let's take a look at better encryption algorithms. Show the 5.6 shows the design of the counter mode block cipher (CTR). Nonce plus counter key. Here's your block. Here's your plain text. XOR comes out. Ciphertext. Nonce 1 plus counter 0 equals 10. 0 0 to 0 1. And your XOR. Those are ciphertext. Alright. The CTR overcomes 2 limitations of ECB. First, CTR generates a random number called nonce, a number used once. When it uses to create a unique pad every time the file is encrypted. It then attaches the nonce to a counter that uniquely identifies each block before sending it to the block. This ensures that each block receives unique information. Let's consider an example. We'll use a 1-bit counter and a 1-bit nonce value of 0. The counter will cycle between 0 and 1 when attached to the end of the nonce. This would result in the following inputs: 0 0 0 1. The combination of nonce and counter is then fed to each block, which returns the block's specific pad. To encrypt the block with XOR this block specified pad with the plain text in the block to create a final ciphertext. Figure 5.7 shows an example of encrypting the binary sequence 0000 using a CTR with a 1-bit counter and a 1-bit nonce, coin flip heads, one or tails. So here's your block function. Your nonce, counter 00, block, XOR 01, nonce 0, encrypt 0000. Okay. Nonce, counter, block, XOR. Yeah. The blocks in the example use the same key and mapping shown in figure 5.6. It is important to distinguish between block ciphers and block cipher mode of operation. A block cipher is a key function that takes a block of n bits and outputs a block of n bits. The output of a secure block cipher looks like a random permutation of the input block. Though we have been using XOR function in our examples, the NSA recommends using the Advanced Encryption Standard AES cipher. Block ciphers themselves are not an encryption scheme. However, you can use them in various modes to obtain an encryption scheme. ECB and CTR are examples of modes of operation. When we say that ECB is insecure, it's the mode that is broken and not the underlying block cipher. Alright, let's get down to the fun stuff. Let's see if we can encrypt some stuff. So, encrypting and decrypting a file. Let's use the CTR cipher to encrypt a file. So we're going to use the CTR method mode. Or CTR method. Begin by opening a terminal on the Kali Linux virtual machine. Create a text file containing the message top secret code by running the following command. Alright, let's get everything all running. Alright, so it's going to be echo top secret code. Okay, so we're just shooting this into a plain text file. Alright, let's do that. So let's open up a command. I don't know if I gotta do echo There's the plain text right there. Plain text. Alright, nice. Well, let's see if we can put it in there. Top secret code. Alright. Let's see if this if that's how it went. Yeah, I want it all. It doesn't matter. Okay. To view the content of the file, run the cat command. Cat plain text. Okay. I guess let's do that. Top secret code. All right. Top secret code. Okay. We'll use the OpenSSL library, which includes several encryption algorithms and is pre-installed on Kali Linux. Encrypt the file by running the following command and entering a password when prompted. OpenSSL encrypt. Man, that's a long little thing to try to remember. Alright, so let's do that. I'm going to have to move this over here so I can see it. I'm typing it. Open SSL ENC and AES dash 256 dash CTR, that's the one we're going to use. PBKB F2. I have no idea what that is. Minus E minus A minus in plain text minus out encrypted .txt. Okay, the password is going to be just Kali, because because I don't care. This is just for an example, but you guys are going to make your own password. The ENC AES 256 CTR, encrypt AES 256 CTR flag specifies that you want to use the AES. We already know what that is, right? It's this advanced encryption standard. 256. Sure, it's the bits. CTR, which is that method or mode, or yeah, that's the mode. Block cipher. So this is what tells you what encryption you want to do. The block cipher name is divided into three parts. The first AES represents the mapping function used for each block. In this case, AES cipher mentioned earlier. The next section, 256, represents the block size, which is 256 bits in this case. The last section, CTR, represents the CTR block cipher mode. So yeah. The next option, minus PBKDF2, represents the key derivative function. And the E flag, key derivative function. And the E flag tells OpenSSL to encrypt the files. So, where is that? So, this is the key derivative function. Encrypt it. The A flag outputs an encryption file, base 64 encoded instead of binary. So there's your base 64. which will make it easier for us to print the encrypted file in the terminal. Lastly, we use the option in and out, or dash in, dash out, to specify the file they want to encrypt and the name of the output file, respectively. So in this case, we in is going to be our plain text that we had that had the top secret code, and out is the encrypted text, and we want to call it encrypted text, a new file. To view the contents of your encrypted file, use the cat command. Cat encrypted text. All right, let's see if we can do it. It's going to ask me to enter my password, I'm sure of it. Well, yeah. It's encrypted now. Nice. I want to try something here. Something else, but okay, hold on. So now let's see. So the plain text one will still be, I'll still be able to see it because it's not encrypted. Just that new one. Okay, so here's my encrypted text hash or whatever that is. To decrypt the file, run the following command. And we're going to run that one. Whoa. Okay, so let's decrypt it. So to decrypt the file, we're going to do open SSL again, which is the library. It has the algorithms. We're going to ENC, which was part of the whole block cipher. Well, we have to do it again, so we can just do it again. AES 256 CTR PBK and DF2 minus D, which is going to be decrypt, minus A, which is going to be what was the A again? Base 64 and encrypted encrypted .txt out decrypted .txt. Is it ENC? What's wrong with that ENC? Let me see. Open SSL. OpenSSL encrypt AES dash 256 dash CTR PBKDF2 PBKDF2 minus D. Let me see if I have that right. Encrypted minus A. Oh, that's why I forgot the dash right here. Dash in. All right, you always gotta double check it. So I have the password. In this case, it's Cali. Now I gotta look at the decrypted. All right, the D flag. The D flag instructs OpenSSL to decrypt the file. So this one, instead of decrypt before, it was E encrypt. Enter the password you used earlier, like the one-time pad algorithm. The CTR decrypts the ciphertext by XORing it with the key output by the block, thereby reversing the encryption process. Note, a hacker who steals this encrypted file. Let's see if I'm going to read it right now. Note, the hacker who steals this encrypted file may not be able to decrypt it, but they can still corrupt it by changing the encryption bits. Chapter 6 will discuss the encryption algorithm that allows you to share encrypted files to detect a corrupt copy. So let's read this file to see if it says, so the decrypted one, so cat decrypted.txt should show the top secret code. There it is. See? So, just to run through what we did, we created a file in plain text said top secret code. Top secret code. We read it by using the cat function or cat command, top secret code, OpenSSL. So this is the stuff that you're gonna have to memorize if you want to encrypt stuff from the command line. Doesn't seem too hard, and I think the more we do it, the more we'll be able to remember how to do it. So we just did OpenSSL, which is the library for encryption, the encryption library algorithms or whatever. SSL. So OpenSSL, then encrypt. That's how I'm going to see that, but it's not actually. This is the ENC is the mode or something. I can't remember. And then we chop this up into 3 pieces, which is we want to use AES, we want to use 256 bits, we want to use that CTR mode block cipher, right? I can't remember what this is. Let's look. The EC is the ENC something flag you want to use. Okay, anyways, so then this right here is your was that? Your key deviation function. So the key deviation function has to do with the encryption or something. How much they're gonna deviate? The deviation? Can't remember. Something like that. Then here's your so you're gonna remember this too. The PBKDF2. PBKDF2. I'm sure there's other deviations. And then you have minus E is your encrypt. Minus A is your base mbase 64. Minus N is whatever one you're that we encrypted. Want to encrypt. Minus out is the encrypted text. So we took the encrypted text and we opened it, and it is encrypted from here, our top secret code. Right? Now, when you want to decrypt it, you do the same thing, except you change this E to D, and you put in the encrypted, and you're gonna have to put out another text so you can see it. And then you have to, obviously, you have to put the password in that you set in here to actually do that. And then that's the key to it, is your password. And then we read the decrypted text, and they gave us our top secret code. Now I have something here that I pulled off of a website. I want to see if I can do this. So let's take. This is just going to be a quick little test. So I am going to create a. Let's do this again. I'm going to create. Oh, crap, actually. Now, let me see if I can. It's gonna be this. Let's try this one first. I'm just gonna have to type this in. Really? What the fudge is going on with this? This is gonna work the way I'm thinking. Okay, so yeah, that's the hashed algorithm. Now let's decrypt that. That that no that isn't. Let's see if we can. No. Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna work the way I'm thinking, but let's. So I have to encrypt it for well, no, yeah, that's not gonna work because this is already encrypted. So if I encrypt it again, it'll just bring me back to this. I'm trying to decrypt this. It was just an encryption that somebody gave me, and they were like, "Yeah, decrypt it." But I wanted to see if I could do it like this. This is pretty neat. Anyways, let's go to the next section. Okay, yeah. Okay, so email encryption. Let's go back here and see. Email encryption. Now that you've encrypted and decrypted a file, let's tackle the challenge of sending an encryption email over a public network. Okay, let's tackle the challenge of sending an encrypted email over a public network, where you should assume that anyone can read any unencrypted message you send. At first glance, correcting this problem doesn't seem too difficult. You can create a key and send an encrypted message over the public network so that those who intercept the message won't be able to read it. However, your recipient won't be able to read the message either because they don't have the key. Assuming that you'll never meet in person to exchange keys, how can you get the key to your recipient without being intercepted? You can use a technique called public key cryptography, also known as asymmetric cryptography. Public key cryptography. Instead of, what's funny is in school I learned about this, right? This public key cryptography, asymmetric cryptography. But in this book, you're actually gonna do something with it. That's the difference. This is a cool book. Instead of a single shared, well, I mean, yeah, instead of a single shared key, public cryptography uses two keys. And I might have did something with it in school. I don't remember. A public key, which everyone can use, which everyone can see, and a private key, which is never shared. These two keys are mathematically linked, so messages encrypted with the public key can be decrypted only by using the private key and vice versa. Public key cryptography. To see how public key cryptography is useful for sending messages, let's consider an analogy. What if you wanted to send Alice your diary through the mail, but you didn't want anyone in the mail system to be able to read it? Could you lock your diary in a box and send it to Alice? But Alice can't open the box because she doesn't have the key. Instead, what if Alice first sends you an open lock and keeps the key. Okay, wait. What if Alice first sends you an open lock and keeps the key? The lock doesn't protect any secret information, so it's fine for everyone in the public mailing system that can see it. You can think of the lock as Alice's public key. Now you can lock the diary. Now you can lock the diary in a box using the lock Alice sent you, and send it through the mail to Alice. No one in the mail system would be able to open your box, not even you, because only Alice has the key. When Alice receives the box, she unlocks it by using the private key. Oh, okay, that makes sense. In other words, I'm gonna send you the lock. Alice has to have the box. Puts the box in there. Locks the box, sends it back, put the information in, because you have the key, and then you send it back. Nah, I don't know. Let's read that again. That I want to understand that clearly. Okay, but you didn't want anyone in the mail system to read it. You could lock your diary box and send it to Alice. But Alice can't open the box. She doesn't have the key. Okay. Instead, what if Alice first sends you an open lock? Okay, now she's sending me the lock. I did it backwards. So they send you the open lock. You put the information in the box, lock it, send it to her. She's got the key. Actual public keys are a bit different than locks because you can both encrypt like a lock and decrypt like a key. The same is true for private keys. If a message is encrypted using a public key, only the individual with the private key can decrypt it. But if a message is encrypted using the private key, anyone with the public key can decrypt it. It may not be obvious at first why anyone would ever encrypt something with their private key, since anyone with access to the public key can decrypt the message. but encrypted messages with your private key guarantee to others that the message came from you because you're the only person with access to your private key. The process of encrypting messages with your private key is often referred to as signing. By signing a message, you guarantee that it came from you. For example, you can request a web page from your bank. The bank server will provide a signed certificate, providing authenticity. We will discuss this topic in more detail in Chapter 6. Let's take a look at one of the algorithms that makes public key cryptography possible. Rivest Shamir Edelman, RSA. Rivest Shamir Edelman theory. Instead of randomly generating a key, public key cryptography creates the relationship between two keys by computing them. Let's develop some mathematical notation to help us discuss the Rivest Shamir Edelman, or Rivest. I don't know. RSA tokens is what I'm used to calling them. Algorithm. We'll denote the integer representing the public key as an E for encryption and the integer representing the private key as D for decryption. These were the variables used in the paper that first introduced RSA. Before we discuss how these are generated, we'll cover the encryption and decryption process. We can represent a message M in binary and then binary values to be interpreted as decimal numbers. For example, the ASCII character A corresponds to the binary value of 1, which can be interpreted as integer 65. We can now encrypt the value 65 by defining a function that maps 65 to a new cipher value, C. Following equation defines the encryption function. EMN equals M power of E mode and whatever. This encryption equation introduces a new public parameter, N. The parameter is created during the key generation process. We'll discuss it later. You might also be wondering why a hacker can't decrypt a message by computing the root of C. This is difficult to compute for a large value of M and E, and is further complicated by the fact that you must account for the mod in operation. So how can Alice decrypt a message? The public key E and the private key D are designed so that if you raise the ciphertext of the value private key D, compute the modulus, you will get the original message block. We commonly refer to feature these as trapdoors. So this is very, very technical. I'm not going to remember half of that, but that's fine. It's good to know. The RSA math. Let's explain how it all works. Let's begin by expressing the decryption process mathematically. I don't even know if I want to do this, but I might skip all this. So here's the math for it. If you want to go through all the math of this, by all means go ahead, and you can go ahead and pause this and read it for yourself, because I'm not going to go through the math of this. That's a little overboard. Now we can use integer values other than 1. Need to ensure mode is 1. Discover the integer D. Okay, I don't need to know that. Select two large prime numbers. Yeah, don't care. Now that you have the value for E and D, so far we focus solely on our RSA algorithm. The secure implementations of RSA must also use the optimal asymmetric encryption padding (OAEP) algorithm. For simplicity, I've delayed discussing the OAEP algorithm, and we'll cover it later in the chapter, but don't worry, we'll include the OAEP flag when encrypting and decrypting files using OpenSSL. So the command shown here should be secure. Encrypting a file with RSA. Now that you know the theory behind RSA, let's use the OpenSSL library to generate encrypted email. To begin, generate a pair of public and private keys by running the following command: OpenSSL gen RSA out public private key 1024. Alright, let's do that. I'm going to have to move this over here though, so I can see that. So we're encrypting we're going to encrypt an email. That's what it said. Encrypting a file with RSA. Now that your theory behind the RSA library generate, library. Let's use the OpenSSL library to generate an encrypted email. All right, let's do that. So we're gonna do the OpenSSL again, and we're gonna do GE and generate RSA. I think that's what that should be. We're gonna output a file, or no, a public and private key. So pub underscore priv pair dot key 1024. Let's see what that does. So let's read what that does. The GENRSA flag lets OpenSSL know, this one, that you want to generate an RSA key. That's simple, that's what I figured. The out flag specifies the name of the output file, out public private pair dot key. And the value 1024 represents the length of the key. Longer keys are more secure. The NSA recommends RSA key lengths of 3074 bits or longer. Remember, don't share your private key with anyone. You can view the key pair you generated by running the following command. So I guess this could have been named anything just with the dot key at the end. OpenSSL. Okay, let me move this over so I can look at it while I'm running it. Alright, now let's look at this. OpenSSL. So this is all repetitive, right? So I will remember OpenSSL. OpenSSL. Yeah, let me see what it said. It said, every time I change this, it goes different. Okay, generated. Okay, OpenSSL RSA text in public private pair So I did some wrong, so I'll go back in. It says open SSL. I put test instead of text. Text in OpenSSL RSA dash TEXT dash this dash in. Alright. Created a private key 1024 bit, 2 primes, modulus, and here's all that math that went behind it. Writing RSA key, begin private key. Here's a private key and private key. So here's my private key. The RSA flag. Let's go back up here. The RSA flag tells OpenSSL to interpret the key as an RSA key. The -text flag displays the key in human readable format, which you should see output like the following. Yes. Like the following. So this is what we got. The labels in this output correspond to the theory we discussed earlier in the chapter, and the modulus is in value n. Remember that this is the product of 2 prime factors, p and q, which are labeled prime 1 and prime 2, and the output. The public exponent, public key, is the value e whereas the private exponent private key is the full is the value D. The section at the bottom represents base 64 encoded values, coded version of the public and private pair with all of its components. You can extract the public key from the file by running the following command. Alright, I'm going to move this and run this command. So let's decrypt this. You can extract the public key. So here's my private key. You can extract the public key from the file by running the following command. Alright, let's run this command to get the public key. So open SSL again, RSA again, in. Now we're going to do our file. Oh, wait a minute. And oh, that was right. I was looking at the wrong one. PUB pub out. Public key dot key. The PB out, this one, flag tells OpenSSL to extract the public key from the file. So OpenSSL RCA in this key PB out. You can view the public key by running the following command, in which the PBN flag instructs OpenSSL to treat the input as a public key. So out public key, so it turned it into this key. Give me 1 second. Public in public key. Writing RSA key. So open RSA in public pair key, PB out, public key. Yeah, public key. Alright, let's run this next command so we can view the you can view the public key by using open SSL RCA text public pub in public key dot key. God, I keep putting test. There's my public key. There's my private key. There's my public key. Come close this door. You can make your public key available by publishing it on your website. Notice that the public key also includes the modulus and required for decryption. Because let me see. Because n is the pub is product of two secret prime numbers, P and Q. If a hacker were able to factor n, they could decrypt the RSA ciphertext. However, no classical algorithm currently exists that would allow a hacker to efficiently factor in n if the prime numbers are large. In 1994, Peter Shor proposed a quantum algorithm that could factor large numbers. The algorithm works, but we haven't yet been able to create a quantum computer that can run it on a large number. Until we have a capable quantum computer, RCA remains safe from encryptions. From encryption. Time to make use of your new public and private keys. Create a text file to encrypt. All right. Let's create a text file to encrypt. Echo. The cat is alive. Plane two, because I think the first plane is still there. So we created this plane 2 text with the secret code is the cat is alive. Use the RSA utility RSA which is part of OpenSSL, to create an encrypted binary file cipher bin. Use the RSA utility OpenSSL to create an encrypted binary cipher bin. OpenSSL encrypt. Jeez. OpenSSL R salt encrypt. So it says that is deprecated. So we're going to use Hmm. Okay, it says right here that this is deprecated, so it needs a new command here for this PKEY. Don't. See this R. Just took that off. You probably don't have to put that in this version. We'll see. Yeah, sometimes this is all. Sometimes this is not up to date. Notice that we included the OAEP flag. Secure implementations of RSA must also use OAP algorithms discussed in the next section. Whenever you're encrypting and decrypting files using OpenSSL, be sure to apply this flag to make the operation secure. Convert the binary file basics before running the following command. Let's see if we can still do this. Converting the file from binary to 64 encoding allows you to paste it into the email as text. You can view base 64 encoding text using the cat command. Let's see if that comes out right. There you go. So apparently I don't know, we're going to have to look up the help for this P key utility. So I can Google this and see what the substitute for this OAEP is. I'm guessing you don't have to put it anymore since it was deprecated. It probably does it automatically, but I mean, we can Google it and find it out because the help command is not working. Like, I don't know how to do that. I've done it every which way to try to get the help on this command, but I couldn't get it to work. So we'll just Google that later if you want. But this is just a quick um, test. It says that you want to add this for security on the end, but you can, like I said, Google the substitute for that later. If you really, we're just doing a test run. Okay, now we're going to decrypt the binary by using this command. P key utility. Spell that right? Cipher 64. Forgot to put the 64 in this bin when I created it. I put cipher. See, I put out. I put cipher bin. So cipher bin. And now let's view the. Lastly, you can view the decrypted message using the cat command. Cat plain d dot. What? That's a typo. Yeah, that's a typo. There you go. The cat is alive. So, our original one was plain to text. We encrypted it by using this encrypt public key in the cipher bin. Open base 64. Here's the and I decrypted it right here. You know, they should have had us look at it encrypted before they had us decrypt it. That's stupid. Anyways, yeah, the cat is alive is right there. It worked, but they between the decrypting and the encrypting, I think they should have try to have us open that plain text too. I don't know, but I think we're gonna call it a day on this video. We're gonna have to cut this video into two. This, even though this is really fun, we have to write some ransomware next, which is gonna be awesome. So we're gonna write some ransomware. Let's go look at this. So this video was just to set up, the idea behind creating ransomware, right? Because we're gonna take like a let's say we hack somebody's system. We're gonna take all their files and stuff, and we're gonna encrypt them, right? Writing ransomware. It's gonna be. I mean, we can do this one encryption padding. So we're gonna pick up on this one next, and then we're gonna write some ransomware. And this looks pretty interesting. Cryptography, right? And then they're gonna give us an exercise. We're gonna create a ransomware server. We're probably gonna do this exercise right here. It's awesome. That's for the next video. You guys gotta wait and then tune in for this next video. This is gonna be exciting. Learn how to make your own ransomware. But see, do you understand? Like, we have to do all this stuff first. It seems boring, but it's not boring. This is actually exciting stuff that we just did, right? It's a long video, but everything we did here, you have to understand what you're doing somewhat, right? You might not have to know the math behind it. I skipped all this math crap, but it's good to know the math too. It's just that, understanding it fully is probably takes a damn mathematician. If I really wanted to, I could go into this and figure it out, right? I mean, it's not that complicated, but the concept of it is kind of complicated. You have to understand what it is, and it explains it to you, but it's kind of hard. But this stuff is easy to understand what's happening, right? But you need to understand all this and these commands and stuff and practice this over and over again, because if you're ever going to hack somebody's system and you want to, hold it for ransom or whatever, right? Or if you want to, work on the other side to prevent this from happening and stuff, you gotta have to know you have done it at least, once or something, or in some kind of practical sense. So this is going to be awesome. This next one, writing ransomware, since we know all this stuff already and we've done some commands and it all worked out. Um, we're going to understand it a lot better. Creating this ransomware. And it's going to be creating the ransomware on a small scale, I'm sure. Right? We're going to install Python cryptography library. And see, that's what the power of Python is. Everybody loves Python. See, Python cryptography. Now, this might be deprecated, but it says pip 3, so Python 3 is what everybody's using, so it might not be. And I think we can go to the website and pull this code. Remember, and put it in our pad and create it faster, and run it. And then we'll run this, this exercise. So it's going to be, the next video is going to be really fun to end this chapter up. And then we're going to do TLS and Diffie Hillman. We're going to learn a little bit more about, all this stuff is very important, because like my friend sent me this website to hack, and two of their like, they had an MD5 hash, but they wanted me to debug it or something like that. And it goes deeper in all that in these next chapters. I want to obviously the basic tools aren't working, like your MD5 hash, decryptor, encryptor. So I want to see if there's other tools I can use to debug or decrypt the hashes fast. So this is all very, very cool stuff. So yeah, see you on the next Hack the File when we'll be doing this one. Bye.